Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Belly Up Sound Off. Right now, we got a big show. Brian Lynch's return from the dead. We have ZachMac, of course, and Big Boss Mike Brown. KJ is not here. So first off, we got a lot of noise, of course, around the Cleveland Browns. There's a surprise. We have a little bit of Dwight Howard sighting, possibly. And we've got my boy right here, Jay-Z, in the news for the NFL. Let's get rocking and rolling. Fellas, how we doing?
Doing good. Doing real good. Happy to be back on it. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm here.
I think Brian, you popped the cherry with episode 1, right?
That's
you were
it, yep.
on the first. That's nice.
Yep.
We'll get you on every 10 episodes.
Yeah, that's about my pace.
I think my attendance record's like 99% on this thing.
Yeah, we figured Jared would be the fill-in for everything, and he ends up showing up to every episode. We're like, Jesus. But, whatever.
Right. Fellas, first off, Cleveland Browns are back in the news again. There's a surprise. We heard about, of course, Baker Mayfield with the GQ comments about Daniel Jones, as well as OBJ's ridiculous catch. And now we've got OBJ saying some things about the Giants. Who wants to kick this off? Because I'm excited to hear what you guys got to think about this, because I have my own opinions, but rock and roll.
I think Zach's on it.
All right, I'll go first about Baker, I guess. Obviously, if you missed it, he questioned, I don't know what the question was to him, but he answered with, I don't know why or he was a little curious of why the Giants picked Daniel Jones at quarterback. As far as the Baker side of things, it's so weird to me that obviously he's got this confidence and he's supposed to be the Cleveland franchise quarterback, but the fact that he gets, 7 wins, I think, last year, that the Browns got, and all of a sudden, so he's below 500, and all of a sudden he's spouting off about quarterbacks that are younger than him. It's a little worrying to me if I'm a Browns fan, because, at least here's my stance on the Browns. I hated the Browns. And then I joined Belly Up, and we had a big Browns following, and there was like a lot of Browns fans that did Belly Up, and I started to warm up to the Browns, and I was like, all right, this is cool. Like, they're gaining some hype. And now it's to the point where they're getting kind of annoying, and Baker's just piling on about it. I like how Daniel Jones handled it, and he just kind of brushed it off, and it almost seemed more mature than how Baker handled the question that he was asked, which was interesting to me. But I'm curious as to why. And Baker's just being himself. He's just answering a question that somebody asked him. But the fact that he's already spouting off about quarterbacks is a little strange to me.
So here's what I've been seeing on this. There's been a lot today about Baker responding to it, and he was saying that this quote was it was from an interview in April. It was totally taken out of context. He was talking about how he was surprised that he went so early, and then just talking about quarterback evaluation overall. And then the quote that is going to stick that they go for is that he was surprised that they took Daniel Jones at number 6 overall. And then since then, Baker has texted Jones saying, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean that. It shouldn't have come off like that. And the article I was reading today, Jones just responded no worries, man, and that's it. So it sounds like it's a bigger thing. It's become a bigger thing than it was intended to be. And, but that being said, I think Baker's right to be surprised that they took Jones at 6 overall. But, yeah, it's not a good look for him. I don't think he meant it to be so negative, though.
As president of the Daniel Jones hating club, I'm going to say this, that his comments were on point. I think the preseason. Everyone's going overhype all these passes he's hitting. He may have decent accuracy, and he had a good head coach in college, but the thing is, when I watched him, he was below average. Baker Mayfield's comments, like Brian said before, were taken out of context, and it's basically, and he went off on a rant at Barstool about how it was basically quick clickbait, and the news media blew up about this, and of course, Baker's number 1 fan, Colin Cowherd's going on about it. Then you have Clay Travis going on about it, ESPN, everything else, and basically, it's basically another preseason story. That honestly, if you talk about this in the NFL, it's a story for 35 seconds and then gone. So I guess I know Big Boss has probably got, being a Ohio native, probably has got something to say about this as well, but. To me, this is kind of just a non-preseason story at this point. The Odell story makes more headlines to me, even though it's just kind of more piling on the cake at this point. But, Mike, what do you got?
Honestly, the whole Baker thing, to me, it was blown out of context. But the thing is I think when Jones was selected, everybody did scratch their head. What people don't realize, Baker's still, this is his second year. Granted, he came in, won some games, coming in to win some games for the Browns. That's not a huge thing because they went. Well, I'm sorry. It is essentially because they went 0-16. But if you get a quarterback in there to win a few games, who said Baker? I love Baker. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Lions fan, but I love Baker. But who says Baker all of a sudden is an All-Pro?
Right.
To where he has this. But I mean, long story short, and I think it's going to be a simple answer. This season will kind of dictate it, even though Eli is still there. But who's going to be the better pro, Baker or Daniel Jones?
I could give you a solid answer right there. It's like here's the thing. Baker's upside is multiple Pro Bowler, possible Super Bowl.
Yeah, top 10 defense too. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you go Daniel Jones, who's getting told essentially by his owner through the media, you're not playing this year.
Mm-hmm.
Eli Manning's here because that franchise is so stuck in fearmonger of the Manning family. And as a resident of the NFC East, it makes me so happy that Opie's going to be playing quarterback for another 2 years.
But the thing, transitioning to like we're talking about, and then the OBJ. Mm-hmm. The thing with OBJ to me hits more because I think the reason I love Baker is he's outspoken. The whole Duke Johnson thing, all that stuff. There's quarterbacks that are the NFL is the no fun league. We've said this for the past couple of years. These guys are getting soft. Baker's coming in and calling people out, saying things. Again, the whole Daniel Jones thing, I believe, was out of context or blown out of proportion. But the OBJ thing, this whole divorce with him and the Giants, it's over, man. He's in a way better situation. The Giants, you can look at it two ways. They can say, well, they got the best return that they could possibly get in a trade from the Browns, but also they sent him to, granted, the Browns, you don't hear playoffs a whole lot, but they sent him to essentially a playoff caliber team, which in Vegas now are getting nods for the Super Bowl. You're going to play with your best friend. Outside of being in the limelight in New York, what more does OBJ want? This is the perfect scenario for him. And it's like a bad divorce, man. At this point, what's it matter? Move on. It's over with. Whatever he said today, they think they'd send me to die or whatever. Like, yeah, it's kind of the same thing with Lions. Being a Lions fan, that is right now where we're at. You send, like, we ruined Barry's career, we ruined Calvin's career. That's where people go to die. But I think the Browns are on the upswing where, like I said, top 10 defense. You've got a perennial up-and-coming QB. You got Jarvis Landry. You got a stud tight end. I mean, you got two great running backs in Kareem Hunt. Who knows if he even is going to make the roster once he comes back, if they're going to hold on to him. I mean, they probably will. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the OBJ thing to me is bigger than the whole Baker.
No, I mean, he has to get the last word in this. He has to feel like he won. He's better than the Giants. Like, they don't want him, so screw them. And he's just going to go be like, I will prove you guys wrong. You sent me here to die, but I'm still going to be great.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is of all the things, you think Odell would be the one going into camp, raising the, ruffling feathers. And he's been pretty quiet outside of the whole Giants thing. Outside of the whole Giants thing, you haven't heard anything from him.
Right.
Which is always a good sign, especially when you look out to a certain city called Oakland, where their newest acquisition won't shut the hell up about his damn helmet.
Dude, the best part is not to interject, but did you guys see the newest Hard Knocks where
I have to watch it tonight. Don't spoil it for me.
No, I didn't say, dude. He was standing next to Gruden, and he was talking about how hot his feet were. And Gruden looked at him. He goes, "Well, why don't you put him in a cryo?" And dude, it was just so funny. You'll have to watch it.
Oh my god!
I got a 5-hour trip tomorrow, so I'll watch it when I'm on the road.
Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, so we're about to transition to our next topic. Actually, it's about Dwight Howard.
He was about to drop.
Hit it, Zach.
I was just going to say it was strange to me. I mean, you mentioned that OBJ's been quiet all preseason, especially compared to Antonio Brown, like Jared mentioned. And it's just weird that he would say something like this before there's any sort of success in Cleveland. Like, it just seems like it'd be an OBJ thing to wait until, they make the playoffs or whatever and then be like, yeah, by the way, the Giants sent me here to die, and this is what I did. It's just so weird that he said it before anything happened with Cleveland.
Honestly, to tell you the truth, I think Oakland is almost guaranteed to go 0-3. And the Browns have a better chance of, a few wins there. So we're going to hear more once the season starts about AB saying, if you throw me the rock, that kind of stuff. Like, it's going to transition to AB real quick.
Yep.
All right.
Go ahead, Jared.
Now we transition. Well, NBA talk before we go back to football for pretty much the rest of the podcast. Dwight Howard is in the news because, of course, you guys saw over the weekend, DeMarcus Cousins out with a torn ACL. Not great for Boogie. Unfortunately, the injury bug's never left this guy his whole career. But one of the biggest centers in this whole discussion of who to replace him to be JaVale McGee's backup, my boy JaVale McGee, Shaqtin' a Fool, Hall of Fame. Dwight Howard, who is essentially, after leaving Orlando, his career has dove so hard.
It's been like a journeyman.
I even forgot he was in the league for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I think he was relevant for a half a second in Houston, and then they phased him out when they switched to the analytic BS. So basically, Dwight Howard is basically the best option right now because what are they going to do? Joakim Noah has said multiple occasions he hates LeBron, or at least wants to get at LeBron. So at this point, Dwight's the Lakers, fellas. Does he make sense for 10 minutes a game to back up McGee?
Man, at this point, why not? The other alternative I saw was Spaeth, bringing him. I didn't even know he was even an option.
I thought he was done after that one Golden State run.
That's what I'm saying. But I mean, to me, at this point, Boogie has been – how many games has he played in the last 2-3 seasons?
It's small enough where I can count it in the next 20 seconds.
So at least Dwight
that can be any number, Jared.
Somewhat healthy. And if he gives you 10 minutes a game, you seriously going to go into the season as McGee, your number one center?
He's not a bad center. He's a solid.
The dude's athletic, but he's dumber than a box of rocks.
Well, then again, so are most Lakers fans. But, I mean, I get it for the standpoint of they want length, they want size, they have LeBron, they have Davis, they have a couple shooters in the back. It's just, I feel like the Lakers are going to be an underachieving hot mess this year, and it's becoming more prevalent now that you're seeing who they're going after.
At this point, I think they're just trying to scramble to put the rest of the roster together.
I mean, only the time will tell. We'll be talking about this probably in April when essentially I'm laughing hysterically when LeBron doesn't make the finals again. And I'm going to keep saying that Kobe is better, which I will until I probably go on the ground.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You almost essentially just said, you're going to laugh when he doesn't make the finals.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'll laugh when he doesn't make the playoffs, but the finals,
well, they're gonna
that's where you're putting him on that pedestal.
Anthony, well, there's two schools of thought for this, and it's that LeBron and Anthony Davis have never been healthy together. If you want, even just last year, what scared me if I was a Lakers fan was that this iron horse, LeBron James, who rarely ever missed a start, took such good care of his body. It looked like he hit the wall, and the injuries just kept stockpiling. And then you have
I almost felt like it was
based
off that roster.
Davis, who basically who can't stay healthy. He's always missing 10, 15 games for something. If I'm looking at this roster, if you're missing one of the two guys, you're basically looking at a 8-9 seed in the West, looking about to get smoked by whoever gets the number one seed out there, if they make the playoffs. So yes, I see that point. If by some miracle Davis does stay healthy and so does LeBron, then yes, they're a 4 or 5 seed, but they're not going to make it past Houston, Golden State, or even Portland. I can keep going down the list, but that's basically how I look at it with this team. They're not the Clippers, of course, as well. So they're going to be it's not if they're going to make the playoffs. It's even if they do, how far will they really go with how loaded the front half of the West is? the back half's going to be a giant dogfight. You have everyone from Minnesota to freaking New Orleans fighting for the last 3 spots, along with Oklahoma City, who's dead now. Even though I keep seeing articles from our writers that saying, "Oh, they're going to be great," but that's, I don't
know. Those are opinion pieces. That's
those opinion pieces get me riled up real fast. There's opinions, and then there's just stop. Just put down the laptop. Go reassess your life a little bit. Back to the NFL. Kenny Stills talking about my boy back here. If you guys don't know what happened, Jay-Z, of course, struck a deal with Rock Nation in the NFL to, advise, to like the Super Bowl like entertainment, stuff like that. And of course the Kaepernick kneelers, the guys that goes down on one knee and during the anthem, not happy about it. Of course, one being Kenny Stills blasting him, and then Brian Flores, a Belichick disciple, played not 1, not 2, but 8 Jay-Z songs straight during practice.
I love
boys.
That. Yep.
Let's rock with this one. I got a couple things to say, but I'm gonna let all 3 of you go first before I start.
What you got, Brian?
First off, when I saw this initially, I was like, Flores crushed it. That's hilarious. That's great. And then I did a little digging, and so what Kenny Stills is saying is legit. He's saying that like Jay-Z was kind of out of line, saying that we're putting this whole kneeling thing behind us. Stills' quote was that he's speaking for the people as if he's spoken to the people. So he's saying that he doesn't really agree with what Jay-Z's saying, and was hoping that the league or Jay-Z handled it a little bit better. He's like, it's not behind it for me. I'm still upset about this. He still wants to, make a stance or take a knee for injustices, and bringing Jay-Z on to speak for him is not great for him. He doesn't love it. But Flores playing the Jay-Z songs, I think, is really good to help train Kenny Stills in what he's going to have to deal with during the season. So Flores, his thought process could be that Stills is going to be hearing people chirping in the stands, and he's going to have to hear that and just refocus and say, I'm still here playing the game. No matter what's going on behind me, whatever's going on through the speakers, I need to be able to focus. So I think, Brian Flores did a great job taking this kind of loaded, charged moment and turning it into something that this young player can learn from.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I from what I read, it was Kenny Stills knew going into practice that it was going to happen. So it didn't catch him by surprise. But my main take here is that Jay-Z has always been a businessman. It's Kenny Stills. Kenny Stills is all about, human rights and equality and stuff like that. And Jay-Z is going to put that to the side to do his business. That's just the way he's always been. He's going to be business first, and then he'll deal with that later as it comes. And that's just so different from how Kenny Stills is going about it. That's where the clash comes, I think. But I pretty much what Brian said. Kenny Stills knew this was coming. It seems more of like a strategy type approach to it.
No, to me, I love it because this is him digging in and saying, I'm the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. This is how it is, because they've had Adam Gase, who was a freaking head case. We see him on the sidelines in New York, sniffing the smelling salts and just in general, everything that comes out that has Adam Gase in it just is retweeted or on Instagram. I mean, it's just
a walking meme, and it makes
me
happy.
So this is Florida, and not to mention his first time being a head coach. He's saying, this is my team. No slight to you guys, but this is how we do it. Like Zach said, based off the whole thing comes to race, and I don't want to bring that card, but you're talking about the Kaepernick and all that stuff, and they're saying because Kaepernick believes in this and Eric Reed and these guys believe in this and take a kneel, then you got a minority owner or Jay-Z per se coming in and backing the NFL, the white man's league is so-called is what they've said. That's what it comes down to, which, I mean, I understand both sides, but Zach said, dude, Jay-Z, the Rock Nation businessman, I mean, outside of his music, I mean, you look at Jay-Z 20 years ago and the stuff that he was rapping about, the stuff that he was like, to where he is now, he's one of the most sophisticated people that it's just, the dude is just on another level, and it's just all about money, and he's making it, and you can't fault the guy for it.
I'm going to put all y'all down for a second because it's not all about money. This poster right here, yes, I'm a fan. He is my favorite rapper, but
You paid for that.
I did some digging on this. I actually really watched some stories on this because it was interesting to me because, I have not witnessed it personally because, being a white man from a suburban town, I don't have to ever really see any of these issues. I do have friends who are from inner cities who have to deal with cops and who have had problems with cops in the past. The thing is, and they are men of color. The thing is, when I did some digging on this, and really what it came down to was not just a business venture. Jay-Z is more of the mindset when he met with Goodell. It's not about the kneeling at this point is more about the whole, it's awareness, but there's only a certain point where awareness turns into, all right, let's have action. Let's actually make this work. And that's where Jay-Z came in the whole deal. And as much as people want to talk about, he made this big deal with the NFL, he sold out. Not really. It was more of he is now involved at a higher level than any of these guys who have been before to initiate a change, to fix a problem in the social issues that the NFL is in such a big platform is around. Now, unfortunately, with the guys like Eric Reed and Colin Kaepernick and Kenny Stills actually, I was very happy with what he did a couple years ago when him and safety Michael Thomas went out in the community and actually worked with the Miami PD. That was great. I can't stand Eric Reed. Eric Reed tries to be so anti-establishment with this crap and tried to fight Malcolm Jenkins last year because Jenkins took on the whole head of the whole player coalition. I can't stand Eric Reed. I think he's lost all credibility in my book if I was ever going to really look at him in this issue. Unfortunately, with Kaepernick right now, I could rip on for hours about how his stats were garbage the second Jim Harbaugh left that offense, and Harbaugh created his talent. The thing is with Kaepernick is now if he gets to that backup job or that whole, he gets the job, but he's going to be a backup. You tell me one team out of the 32 where you really, truly, if you wanted to win or build for your future, would put Kaepernick ahead of the guy they got starting. And I would tell you might get one team, and that team he would probably go 1-16, 2-14 with. The thing is, with this whole issue, it comes down to the fact that it's the step after awareness. It's getting past the social media, the stay woke crap. It's turning into, all right, you have an issue. Let's change it for the better so we do have equality, so we do have awareness to the fact, and we do fix the fact that there is injustice towards minorities from certain police officers in certain areas of the country. That was the whole point of what Jay-Z did with this deal. It wasn't just to make money. The dude's basically almost a billionaire, or might be. The whole rumors around it are really weird. It's about the next step of change, and unfortunately what I think a lot of these guys are saying is they're going on social media and saying this bullshit, and at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you got some clicks. Yeah, you got people fired. I was listening to Hot 93.7 telling why you mad about Jay-Z, and I'm like, these morons don't understand what's going on. He's trying to assimilate into the NFL owners base and into the NFL, the white man's league, to make the change. He's making the dive to actually do what needs to be done to make the change, to fix the issue, not just bitch and moan about it on social media like 90% of people do. I am all for the player's right to kneel for the anthem, like Malcolm Jenkins does, and put his fist up for unity. That's what I'm about. That's their right to do something like this. But at the end of the day, this was not about selling out. It's not about business. Yes, he made money off this because he's a businessman. Jay-Z's one of the smartest black capitalists, to use a word I heard multiple times from Jason Whitlock and Clay Travis when I was listening to their interview yesterday. But he's a very smart businessman, but at the end of the day, he also understands the fact that this is how you make the change. You take the second step. Yes, you got the awareness. The whole kneeling thing last year and the year before, that got the ball rolling. Let's now see them change it. Because you could talk about all you want, and you can even go into the whole thing with the rainforest burning or whatever, the same thing. It's great to get the awareness. Now fix it. That's how things get done in this country and in this world, not just about tweeting about it on social media.
You know what? Before you continue your rant,
I'm done.
This is probably the first time, and what are we on, episode 10, where I've taken your opinion and I've actually been pretty impressed by it. And you know what?
I was going to write a story about this, but
you should tell your mom because I think she'd be proud. So I'm pretty sure we're probably going to cut cut
Absolutely.
some of this and this.
Well said, Jay.
And you know, honestly, I'm as much as I dog you and love giving you a hard time, your take on that is absolutely it. I think it opens up a lot of eyes. It's very for us for Caucasians per se. Again, I know I keep talking about race, but that's what people look at this as, and for you to say that, you know, it kind of made me think about it and look back, and it shows that you did do your research.
Yeah.
Outside of all the times that you say you watch film, because I know you don't watch any film.
I actually do. Surprisingly, what you guys disbelieve, I do actually watch film. Mike's just bullshit.
So no, but for real, dude. Honestly, to tell you the truth, your take on that, you know, makes me want to look into it more. And in general, it's a unity. The whole thing is,
yeah,
there is money involved, but like you said, there's a bigger I guess point of purpose at the end, and I think your take was very well, and I hope if anybody takes as much as our satire and as much as we joke around that point, well, we really you know, instill that, and hopefully people can appreciate that. So.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I just took a special interest in this because my best friend is a man of color. I do see this from a different perspective, being around him a lot more, seeing things that maybe I didn't see in my closed-off community I grew up in. And it's, to me, the whole part of sports is it unites people. That's basically why one of the biggest things I love about sports. I wrote a whole article about this 2 years ago about sports uniting people, regardless of race, creed, religion, whatever. And at the end of the day, what he's doing is not being a sellout. It's actually making the next step. And that's why I want to clear up, because I hear all this crap about business. It's not about business. That's like glazing over the issue. No, I'm not knocking you guys' takes. It's I really did digging. And when I heard you guys keep saying the same thing, I'm like, all right, I'm about to knock this out. Because people need to hear what's really going on. It's not about the money. This guy has enough money so him and Beyonce can live to their $1 million and stop working now. The thing is, it's about making the change to make society better, but at some point, you got to put down the fist and pick up the olive branch and start to make the compromise, to make the change, to make the progress, to make things better.
Do you think that realization comes to light within the NFL by season's end, or is this a feud that goes on?
I think in the NFL or on the owners, sure. That's more on social media? Hell no, because people are morons on social media. I go on social media for laughing, for getting ticked off, and hating the Bears. For our next topic, we are now talking NFL preseason, but with a spin. So, boys, we have a couple of coworkers who are big NFL fans of certain teams and maybe don't try to hide their bias as much. I'm not going to name names. So, round table now, who is the most overrated team going into the season? I have my pick. Please do not steal it. You guys all know what it is. ZachMac, you're up first.
All right, I'll go first because I think I know what you guys are going to talk about, so I'll stay away from that one. I'm going to go the Kansas City Chiefs. I think without Hunt and Tyreek Hill, it's a lot of weight on Patrick Mahomes' shoulders. And as far as the offense goes, I mean, I know they still got weapons, but
Tyreek will play this year.
Tyreek Hill's playing this year, but the name you're looking for was D Ford.
Still.
Okay.
Either way, who knows what's going to happen with Tyreek? So,
yeah.
But at this point, he's playing.
Yeah, and their biggest issue last year was the defense. They got to do defensive coordinator. I just don't see them putting in the. I just think they're overhyped. I think a lot of people are like, yeah, all right, Chiefs they're in, they're winning their division, they're in. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a little confusion on the defense. I don't know how tough it is to bring in a new defensive coordinator and adjust everything the way that it's got to be done his way. And it's going to be it's going to be a lot of weight on Patrick Mahomes' shoulders. And now, obviously the more and more you play, the more and more tape defenses have on you. And I'm not saying it's easy to stop Patrick Mahomes once you have tape, but I just think that a lot of people are overhyping the Kansas City Chiefs. I still think that it's not to say that they won't win a division. I still think they can, but I just don't think they'll put up the number of wins that a lot of people think they will.
Brian?
All right.
It is the Cleveland Browns. They are.
I figured this would be.
So here's
hold on, guys. I gotta warm my hands on that lukewarm take.
No. So I'm big into the fantasy football, and everyone loves the different players from the Cleveland Browns. Odell Beckham's going in the first or second round. Baker's going in the second, third round. Landry's still going high. Chubb's going high. So everyone is like, they have all these elite talents, elite fantasy talents, and they're saying that they're going to be a good NFL team. One place that had it right was ESPN's power rankings that came out yesterday. They had Cleveland at 16, which I think is very appropriate, and that's about where they're going to be as a team. But everyone is loving on the Browns. They're going to be a fun team to watch. They're definitely rising talents, but where people are putting their skilled players and their skill set is way too high for where they should be.
Listen, I know, Jared. I know probably where you're going to go. I'm not 100%
I have
sure.
two, Mike, so if you really want to take the
I know you're going to have
I always keep one in the chamber just in case somebody takes my take.
Because you're going to have a more elaborate take than I will, but honestly, to tell you the truth, and this has nothing to be biased with the NFC North, with me being a Lions fan, and I've even seen it, Chicago Bears. I'm big on the Montgomery hype. I know maybe Jared may be a little different than that. We'll get to that. But the thing that it comes down to is they've got a top 5 defense. They've got a good core on offense. But I cannot get behind Trubisky. I just don't know why. And maybe it's because of the Stafford, Trubisky, that whole shindig, the NFC North. But there's no way Trubisky outperformed Stafford this season. And I know Jared's just chomping at the bit, so I won't keep it long. So Jared, where you at?
Wait, Mike, I have a question for you. For you. Since if you want to outperform Stafford, does he outperform any of the NFC North quarterbacks?
Yes.
Stafford or Trubisky?
Trubisky.
Well, yeah, there's Cousins. I was just
okay.
Cousins in the league. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I think Rodgers has his bounce back year.
Yep.
And I think Stafford is the number 2 quarterback. And I would say Trubisky and Cousins.
Yeah. All right, so I'm not as charming as a bit because Mike led me off. He literally hit a nice triple. I'm going to smash a ball over the fence just to knock this out of the park here. First of all, if I have to see our boy David Prince tweet one more stupid-ass thing about the goddamn Trubisky, I swear to God, I'm going to...
I responded to him for that.
I may unfollow him, and he's a great kid, but he's got to stop... He had Bears fans attacking me all weekend on Twitter.
Oh, that's a ruthless
all I got Trubisky. And here's the
it's
best.
A loyal fan base.
Here's the best part about all this. All right, by the way, I do watch film. For those guys who want to ignore Mike here, Trubisky's reading ability is garbage. If you watch the film, he needs one read, primary receiver, goes to his check down. If both are covered, he automatically runs. And against most defenses, you can't get away with that. They might leave the check down open, but it's going to be 1-2 yards or an incompletion. And, look, now it's 3rd and 8, and now you got to punt it. They're really relying on this whole David Montgomery train and their top 5 defense. They did lose also a safety in Adrian Amos. And it's just, to me, I watched them against my Eagles, a team that was so beat up and so injury-prone, they shouldn't have even made the playoffs. And the thing was, I watched Trubisky throw not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 near interceptions that were all dropped.
I feel like this take, I should just run them all together because I think every episode we've got this take.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is, at the end of the day, the Bears just, I don't see it. I could see them going 9-7 and being a decent team, their defense keeping them in games. But everyone's like, oh, Mitch is going to have his year. I'm like, people also now have film on him and his new system. I don't buy this hype that Nagy kind of put chains on him, is like, only do this much. Nagy, by the end of the season, was like, hey, listen, do this, this, and this. Also, by the way, they played like 7 bottom 15 defenses last year. So
Nagy was like the most prolific when it came to like the trick play. Like,
exactly.
Pulling shit out of his ass.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't buy that. And my real take, I was just piggybacking on Mike's here, is the New Orleans Saints. Now, everyone wanted to talk about how they were 1 play away from going to the Super Bowl. Basically, that team lucked out on multiple plays, not even just the playoffs, but in the regular season, and that defense is not as good as everyone thinks it is. You have a couple key players like Lattimore, Cam Jordan, and Marcus Williams. At the end of the day, though,
defense.
I really look at their defense, and I'm like, what is talent? What is going to keep like a team for like Kansas City, Philadelphia, New England, even Green Bay, want to throw in Detroit? They're teams that actually can move the ball. and I can throw in, like LA Chargers, LA Rams, whatever. What is going to stop those teams from driving down the field every time? Oh, Breeze has a run, and Breeze might always start off the year hot because he would get healthy, but you saw the age drop off the end of the year, and they're so concerned about the stupid play call, the emotion, and everything around this team.
But they're paid to hurt
I
these
think Atlanta's the best team in that division this year. They were rolling until they lost half their players against Philly in the next half of the game after. So to summarize this, I think that New Orleans is going to drop off. They're going to be a 9-7 team. It's going to be Week 17. They're going to be playing some squad, and they're going to have to be doing what Philly did last year and hope that a Minnesota or a Dallas or a San Francisco loses so they can get in the playoffs, but it won't happen.
Wait, you just switched to New Orleans.
No, I piggybacked off yours.
What happened?
New Orleans.
So
Yeah,
where do you got Chicago?
Essentially, I knocked in the run you got on base, and then I hit my own dinger. So
what do you got? Chicago 8-8, 9-7.
Chicago got 9-7. New Orleans got 9-7 as well. I think they're both regressed because I don't see there's too many holes and not enough with Trubisky. It's Trubisky for the Bears essentially not being a big enough motor to power this hype engine they've got, and then you go to New Orleans. There's too much emotion. There's not enough production on the defensive side of the ball to make stops. And as much as everyone talks about it's a quarterback league, it's all about offense. Defense does make the ending stop. You want to talk about what play blocked out Bryant's Patriots against my Eagles? It was Brandon Graham's strip sack. You want to go even farther back. Every Super Bowl, there's always that one defensive play. Von Miller knocking the living daylights out of Cam Newton in Super Bowl 50. It goes back and forth. Defense does, in the end, save championships. Not win championships, save championships. And the Saints, to me, even if they do squeak by the skin of their teeth into the playoffs, they will not be able to stop any of the teams I have right now on my picks on the corner booth for the NFC.
I don't like the Bears, and I hope they underachieve. But if they happen to overachieve and go like 14-2, I hope that David makes a highlight video with just all of Jared's takes from all of these episodes.
I would love it, and I will send him. I will personally send him every clip, and I will send it for him.
But here's the thing. I'm very confident in my picks right now. They may even go 10-6, but it's going to same thing happen last year. Trubisky's getting to the playoffs, and you're going to see the bad decision making. Nagy can't hide him behind trick plays forever. It's the same thing. It's the same. He's honestly the NFC version of Mariota to me.
David's got too big of a following to expose you. He's too nice.
Yeah, and also David loves coming on the corner booth too much to really like to do that to me.
All right. Anyways, we're going to finish it up with our normal roundtable. So I will kind of leave it open to any of these guys, whoever wants to bite first.
I'll go last.
Just of course. Just anything sports topics this week, past week, anything that's trending. What's your guys' take and where are we at? Zach, Brian?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Oh boy.
And mine's it's about my boy Devin Booker. He's from Grand Rapids, Michigan. So I respect him hard for that. But I lost a little bit of respect for him over this past couple days.
You ever hoop with him about open gym?
No, man. He was 2 against double teams, so I was like, I'm not joining that court. He's out here complaining about double teams and pick up gym, which I get. First of all, I get his point. I understand where he's come from. He wants to work on things other than double teams. He says he can work on those himself at home or with his team or whatever. And he's just trying to work on his game or whatever. And pick up gym. But honestly, I don't see how double teams aren't a part of your game. Like, yeah, you got to work out of double teams in game time situations. But on the flip side, defenses have to be able to double team and then defend off of that. So maybe they're working on their game, trying to double team and then work out of the double team if it's passed out of it, whatever it may be. I feel like he's being very petty. Honestly, it's absolutely blowing up. Like, people like in the league, used to be in the league, are commenting on it. Is it okay to double team? Is it not? It's crazy to me that this is blowing up as much as it is. But my take on it is double team and pick up if you're trying to win the game. Like, honestly, are you playing pickup games and not try to win? Like,
or even box and one just to keep him out of scoring, because he is the best scorer in the league, or at least top 3. So
the best part is,
of course, Kobe.
Of course, when there's any kind of shit talking, Joakim Noah is the one.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there in the middle, and he's barking at him. That's what made everything that much better because Joakim's not even signed by anybody.
Yeah, I don't take Joakim's side very often, but on that I do.
Oh, dude, he drives me nuts, but that makes me laugh, So I mean, whatever. That's a great take. That was all over the news today. I mean, to me, I remember playing ball when I was in school at University of Toledo. Shout out to the MAC, yeah. But I'm not a basketball. I mean, I thought I was a basketball player, but I'm not a basketball player.
Yeah, bro. If you're playing pickup and you get double teamed, you're like puffing your chest out. Like, look at this. Yeah. These guys are double teaming me. Like, what?
Double team somebody in the corner to get the strip. To get the ball. My thing was defense because there ain't no way I'm scoring. I mean, my layups are. I mean, whether it's right-handed or left-handed, you wouldn't tell the difference because they're horrible. but needless to say, my take where we're at for the roundtable here is kind of sticking with basketball. Is do I think they're going to make noise? To a certain extent, yes, but the Detroit Pistons are slowly building a decent squad
D-Rose, baby.
with what they have, and then they signed Beasley. So again, they're not going to be very deep. They've got a lot of money wrapped up. I think they're still paying Josh Smith at this point from 5 years ago. I think it's going to be like he's like the next. He's like the next, Bobby Bonilla. I think we pay him for the next 20 years. But in general, they're slowly, low key, building a squad. Do I think they're going to win the championship? No, but I think they should make a run. The Achilles heel on that team, I think, is Reggie Jackson. I think he's got tons of potential, but he wants to be so much better than Westbrook. He wants to be so much better than Harden. He wants to be so much better than KD because that's the system he came up in that he just can't be who he is. So I think we're slowly building a squad with what we have. Looking forward to the season. The East is, to me, watered down outside of the top 2, 3.
It's deep, but it's not like there's a lot of talent.
But it's deep.
Yeah,
with a bunch of
West team.
Yeah. But I mean, to go back to which raised a whole bunch of hype last week. To go back to KJ's take, blowing a gasket on Jared last week, whether it was the Pelicans, whether they were in the East or the West,
No, I literally said if they were in the East, they'd be a 5 seed. That's literally.
Yeah, which, I mean, I get that, but you're talking, I mean, real quick, just humor me. Jared, of all people, you're top 5 in the East. Or top 4.
All right, that one's actually. So I got to give number 4 probably Brooklyn, because even though it's just Kyrie there, he basically is a better version of D'Lo.
Does KD come back for the playoffs?
No, he's done. Achilles that late in the season, he's done. Boston number 3. I love Kemba Walker and that whole thing. He fits their system better. I gotta go with. Oh my God, I'm gonna forget a team, and I'm gonna feel like such a jackass. But number 1, of course, is Milwaukee. So I'm the
Let's say consensus. I think that's where.
Yeah, consensus there is Milwaukee. But then number 2, like it's really hard for me to like put this team there, but I almost gotta give it up to the Pistons. I love.
You're hyping too much for me. I got some goosebumps. My nipples.
I like you. I like you now.
Here's the
thing. I ain't there yet.
Who am I going to give it to? Atlanta? They're going to be a 7
Philly.
Best. Philly.
Your boys at Design Tree are watching.
Listen, Design Tree. Love this shirt. This is my sugar mama. And by the way, y'all call me John every time. I want my free shirt.
You're hating it.
I will even wear a shirt that says John on the back of it, all right? Like, come on. And I no disrespect to Philly. I completely brain farted on Philly. Philly is in the top. I'd probably knock Brooklyn out for Philly at 4 or 3. That is my fault for brain farting. I knew there was a team I couldn't think off the top of my head. But I do love Detroit. I think they're going to be up there with Brooklyn without Kevin Durant. And Boston, I just think Boston, they just don't have enough firepower. They have Kemba Walker fits their system. Brad Stevens is a great coach. But there's only a limit they're going to hit. There's a ceiling, and they're going to keep banging against that ceiling. But they're never going to smash through it. So,
anyways, I made the cardinal sin and I asked Jared another question. So where are we at? We with Brian or Jared now?
I'll take it. So I'm going to take mine from our Twitter question that we got. A little response to our shout to fans. So
I was hoping you would.
Yeah, Saints for Life at Saints for Life 73 was wondering.
Follow.
Yeah, he was wondering who we think Breeze's successor is going to be. Is it going to be Bridgewater, Hill, or someone not on the team? And I think this is coming from Steve Young's comments about following up Joe Montana. Young's like, whoever comes after Breeze is always going to be compared to Breeze, and there's no getting out of that shadow. And his advice for the next guy is you got to, and I quote, you have to have mental focus and emotional focus on what you're trying to accomplish. You have to have that talk track. Every question you get about Drew Brees, just answer it and move on, which is fantastic advice for Taysom Hill once Brees moves on, who I think is the heir apparent in the team.
Whew.
Yeah, that's going to be it. So he's got, after the season, he's got 3 years in it. I don't think Brees has much time left. He is free agent in 2020. He might get another 2-year contract, play one of them as they groom the next guy, and I think it's going to be Hill's team.
His lack of mechanics just scares the living bejesus out of me.
Me, when I saw that come through, mine is somebody that's not on the team. It's a draft pick or somebody. Teddy has the potential, but no.
No, Teddy's not.
Pick.
He's another. His contract's up after this year. He's gone.
Messed his career.
Yeah. But that's great. I love how you took that. I was hoping someone would get to that. So
yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. So Saints for Life, thank you for sending that one in too. Keep them coming.
Yeah. If somebody asked me that question, I was going to direct it to Brian. So I'm glad you answered.
I'll take it. I was done with your basketball stuff. It's football
season. Send in your questions, and unfortunately, we'll send it over to Jared right now.
Y'all hate on me so much, but I'm the top billed star here. I don't know what y'all talking about. Basically, folks, so the college football season college football hits 150 years as of Saturday. My Miami Hurricanes are playing the Florida Gators, 7 o'clock in Orlando. If only I can go to the game, but it's probably a good thing I won't because I'd be in a fist fight with Gator fans.
Shout out to Paul. He'll be there. He'll be keeping us up to date. Check out the Belly Up Snapchat and all that stuff.
Because I'm going to give you a take here that's actually, I'm holding the bias back, and I learned to hold my bias off my Hurricanes after it killed me when they choked away being in the playoff 2 years ago. The Hurricanes are going to knock off the Gators. One, the Gators' passing game has never been okay. Miami.
Well, the Gators 8 or 9 right now. They open season.
Yeah, they're 8.
He's going to take off his bias. And
no, listen. Will you let me talk? Damn it, Jesus Christ! Oh my God, I can't even do it.
Go for it.
Yeah, Jay.
All right. Basically, when you look at how the Gators' offense is built, they have a mobile quarterback who's never been able to really get the ball down the field effectively. The issue is Miami's one weakness of their defense, where they lost all their starters. Their secondary. They're returning 6 guys. Where? In the box. Their front 7. It's their pass rush, Jonathan Garvin, who was one of the best pass rushers in the nation last year. You throw in that linebacking core with somehow a dark horse for the Heisman, Shaq Quarterman. He's a middle linebacker. I don't get that. But and their other linebackers, McLeod and Pinkney, who are both all preseason All-Americans at one point in their careers. It's a great defense. You throw in the fact that they take all the distractions of Perry and Martell and give the young kid Williams the starting job, along with a DJ Dallas returning for his senior year, another great running back. And to me, I think people are really looking at the Miami, they have a rookie head coach, the transfer portal. They got like 7 5-star recruits from other teams that just didn't want to play there anymore. To me, I look at this and I'm like, if I am a betting man, even if I wasn't a Canes fan, like throw away the fact that I have a Canes jersey over there, a band over there, whatever, I would be taking money on Miami simply because there is so much hype on Florida being the 8th seed. It's going to skew the numbers. And I'm like, is everyone forgetting Miami pretty much cleaned up during the transfer portal of all guys who have game experience, who are ready to step in and plug and play now. Oh, by the way, Miami got their best weapon back after Mark Richt kicked him out for no reason he wouldn't tell us. Jeff Thomas. I'm on the Hurricanes on this one. I think they're going to pull off an upset. I don't know if they're going to really be able to compete with Clemson in the ACC this year, but Florida, there's way too much hype on them to smoke Miami, and I'm just thinking, like, is everyone forgetting that this team was a top 5 defense last year, but whatever. That's
Jared,
it. That's all I got.
Jared, one-word answer. If Miami, seriously, one-word answer. If Miami beats Florida,
I'm going to turn this motherfucker off.
will they be ranked? And if so, what will their rank be?
23.
Okay.
That's like the MAC school rankings.
Well, it's what happens when you knock
You gotta
out
crack it. You gotta crack it. Wasn't Manny like the biggest, like when everything came down for Miami, like he was like one of the biggest influencers of all the stuff when everything that was going on?
He wasn't even associated with the program yet.
Yeah, maybe I just run them all together. Whatever, it's all good. But anyways,
it was Randy Shannon you're thinking of.
No, it was somebody else. But anyways,
Yeah.
We're finishing up our segment here. We've got everybody's takes. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to go with this. Excited for college football back, NFL coming up. Obviously, Jared, this is the cream of the crop. He's looking forward to it. His
XFL dropped some teams.
starting to see, yes.
All right, by the way, I'm still all NFL all the way, even though I did apply for a job at the XFL because it's like 20 minutes, it's like 35 minutes from my house.
That is one thing that, yes, I didn't want to touch on that because it'll take forever, but they dropped their schedule, their teams. It's one of those things where you kind of pick based off of your locations, your jurisdictions, whatever. Who knows who's going to be good. But looking forward to the upcoming season for NCAA, NFL, and then 2020, the XFL. But to all of the groups that really support us, Design Tree, the usual statement games, yes, like Jared has on the Alex Morgan shirt. He says he's going to marry
My sugar mama.
But either way, to all the affiliates and everybody that works with us, I appreciate all the help, all the support. We're trying to take Belly Up, obviously, to the next level. This was, I feel, a great episode. I already told Jared his take was very surprising on a lot of things, the Jay-Z situation. So I think for most people looking in, we like to have fun. We like the satire, to spoof and stuff like that. But there is a lot of knowledge inside our company, and I'm really glad. I look forward to getting on here. Like KJ said, he's not here with us, but this is one of the things that where people really look forward to once a week getting on this to saying what they have. I'm glad Brian made it tonight. He's been a part of it. Zach, obviously, Jared, Corner Booth, Puck Pass. Brian, you guys still running your guys' pod this year?
Not looking like it for this season.
Either way,
check out Brian. Fantasy now.
I don't know.
Brian runs the Belly Up Fantasy. He's got a great group of people. He's doing a lot of big things. Once the season really kicks off, in the preseason, there's not a whole lot to do on, but once the season kicks off, I know he likes to get up early with his coffee, sits there,
starts questions all morning.
Absolutely.
This is the man.
I'm
not doing fantasy this year, but if I had a fantasy question, that's who I'm going to.
Bring it.
He'll be answering those. So there's a lot of people behind the scenes that do a lot of things. There's the core group that we always see here. A lot of people, So I appreciate everything, and I'm glad you guys were able to jump on board tonight, and we'll look forward to the crazy week that brings. Who knows what's going to happen next week? I'm sure AB will be in the topics, which I'm trying to avoid like the plague. So, because it's just getting old. So, I know, Jared. Go ahead. What do you got?
About my show, it's awful.
You want to talk about The Bachelor?
Oh my god.
The best part is Mark's about to be free this week, so we can replace him with you.
Oh god.
Or replace you with him, whatever.
You want a lukewarm take that's going to just bore everyone to death? Go for it. I'm the entertainment center here, baby.
The only thing I got is, as far as Mark's takes, how we feeling about the whole Andrew Luck situation? Because I got Matt Stafford. There's nothing to talk about right now. We'll end it on that. You guys have a good one.